Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This video, we're looking at the NBA slate. So we have back to a normal size slate today, 10 games, starting at 7 o'clock today. So let's get into it. Um, as always, appreciate you guys to the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. It wasn't the best day yesterday, so looking to get back on track today. This slate has a lot to talk about. A lot of teams are resting a bunch of guys. A lot of teams are just without a lot of guys. So it's going to be one that we're going to spend some time on discussing. So let's get right into it. Looking at the point guard options to start, yeah, Westbrook is $11,000, and with the amount of value that we have on the slate that we will get to, it is pretty easy to pay up for one, if not two guys above $10,000. So I think Westbrook kind of fits that bill. He's been a triple double machine recently. Triple double in, let's count them, one, two, three, four, five, still going six straight games, and make that like 9 of the last 10 games he's had a triple double, and you get those double double, triple double bonuses on DraftKings. Those are worth a few points. You get those if whatever threes he does make. He's not a 3 point shooter, but he's made a couple threes some of these games. Get half a point for those. You're getting 36, 39 minutes. Great matchup against the Pelicans. Westbrook is going to be one of the best pay ups of the day at point guard, just because you also have a ton of value that we'll get to even at this position. But I like Westbrook more than Luka against the Knicks the way he's been playing, even though he had that unbelievable winner buzzer beater last game against the Grizzlies. I don't really want to go to Kyrie at 99 now that Durant is back. Lillard is fine, but he's been. I mean, they have just a lot of scorers now on the team with McCollum, Norman Powell, etc. John Wall looks okay at 8,200 bucks. He's been playing great. I mean, I've been playing John Wall probably more than anybody. It's been working out most times, especially when he can make some shots. When he hasn't been able to make shots, it's been poor. But 82 is still a good price tag on a guy that just commands so much usage, and the ball is in his hands the entire game. Van Fleet is looks like he's gonna play. Nick Nurse said they don't really know what they're doing with their guys. Resting Siakam, resting Lowry again without Anunoby. It looks like he will return Van Fleet if he comes back and there's no sort of minutes limit on him. I think he would be a great option just because they don't have very other guys to shoot. He could also come in and be a little bit rusty, so there is some caution there. I like Rozier a lot at $8,100. You can play him at shooting guard. Hornets still super limited with guys, and now Devonte Graham is also out today, so you'll see Rozier probably go back to playing like 40 plus minutes, high 30s, low 40s, and I think it's a spot where against Brooklyn, you know it's going to be a fast-paced, high-scoring game. It's just a matter of if the Hornets can score enough to keep pace with the Brooklyn Nets, which hopefully, if they do have any shot of doing that, it's going to be because of Terry Rozier. So I like Rozier. Van Fleet has two lower-end guys in the 7 to 8K range. Other guys that look somewhat interesting are John Moran at only 7,100 bucks. You have D'Angelo Russell 6,500 for tournaments. Love Malachi Flynn today. He's got to be in consideration at um, the other guard spot or the utility spot. $6,200. No Lowry, no Siakam, no Anunoby. He's gonna get you huge minutes. He's been productive. They got to get. I mean, now they're just basically getting the young players a lot more playing time. So gotta like Malachi Flynn in a good spot against Orlando. You can look to maybe Cole Anthony as a tournament option, 5,100 bucks. We do have a lot of cheap guys here today. Below $4,000, you have guys like Monty Morris, who will probably start again in place of Jamal Murray. You also have the Detroit Pistons resting and without a lot of guys today. So you'll see Killian Hayes potentially start, $3,500 for Hayes. If he gets you high 20s, low 30s in minutes potentially. I mean, they play a lot of guys. But looking at this lineup today, looking at their players they have available, there's no Dennis Smith, no Corey Joseph, and Joseph was playing a lot of minutes. So you'll see Hayes play a bunch of point guard minutes. You'll see Diallo have to play a lot. They're without Ellington, without Magruder. So basically, we might see Diallo start and play big minutes today as well. It looks interesting at only 4,200 bucks. They're without Grant and they're without Plumlee. So another guy you want to plug in is Stewart at 4,400 bucks, and then I think I like Diallo as a guy that can score and shoot the ball a little bit, and he can play some bigger minutes today. He's $1,100 cheaper than Josh Jackson, and seems like they can always, whatever reason they have to play Josh Jackson less minutes is something that Dwayne Casey likes to do. So I might as well just take a shot on Diallo, especially if he is starting. So the Pistons, definitely a team where you're going to want to get to at least a couple of guys on that team. We didn't even talk about the Chicago Bulls yet, but Zach LaVine is out. So looking at the Chicago side, you'll have to see somebody soak up a lot more usage and a lot more scoring because LaVine was doing everything for the team. I think that person could probably be Lauri Markkanen if he jumps into the starting lineup. $3,900 for Markkanen is just really cheap because Patrick Williams have to take on more of a scoring role. At $4,100, he's also interesting. Maybe they throw a curveball and they start like Garrett Temple or a Valentine. They still have bodies, but it's going to be interesting to see who benefits and who starts in place of Zach LaVine today. So those are the two bigger ones besides the Hornets, and talked about Toronto already. On the Denver side, I do like Michael Porter Jr. He is $7,400. He's been playing great basketball. He's going to have to take on a huge role now that they're without Jamal Murray for the rest of the year. Played 33 minutes, didn't close the game because they were up by 17, 20 points in the fourth. Probably would have put up 50 if he got those couple extra minutes, but I like him a lot. Great spot against Houston for a guy that takes a lot of shots, he gets a lot of rebounds. Double-double candidate at some power forward position. So that's already 5 guys I really liked today. Didn't even really touch on the positions, but going back to shooting guard, if George is in and Kawhi's out, I like Paul George. I like Rozier as a pay-up, $8,100. I like Van Fleet as well, $7,900. In the 6K range, you can look to Russell for tournaments. You can go cheaper here in the 5 and 4K range. I don't really see anybody that looks that appealing just because we have so much value in the 3K range with even though Hayes is point guard eligible, maybe you can slide somebody else over at shooting guard. You have Monty Morris. You have Caleb Martin, who's going to have to play big minutes today in place of Devontae Graham. You also have Gary Harris, who's cheap at $3,600. He's going to see a lot of minutes. So there's a lot of cheap end guys today that where it's pretty easy to pay up for some guys and pay up for some studs. So that's why it's very, very easy to get to Russell Westbrook. And then small forward, besides Diallo as a good value piece, you have Patrick Williams, $4,100. He is definitely interesting. You also have Sadiq Bey, $4,800 if you're not feeling Diallo. Bey's going to get you huge minutes tonight, probably 34, 35. And if you wanted to pay up here, you could play Porter at this position. I like him at power forward. See any top end guys, it's basically Luka or Ingram. Now that Ball is back, it's going to hurt him a little bit. Power forward, I love Michael Porter Jr. at that price tag. You can potentially go for a Kevin Durant. Maybe a Christian Wood. His price tag did go up a little bit, so he's not that much of a must-play. You have some cheaper guys here that you can play, especially Markkanen is only $3,900. Decent chance he might start today, but even if he doesn't start, he's going to get way more than 17 minutes off the bench without Zach LaVine. He's a scorer. He will shoot the ball, probably take 10-plus shots in this one, and probably he's the cheapest price tag he's been all season, down below 4K. And then at center, I like going cheap here for like a Stewart. You also have a Kem Birch as another very cheap end guy to consider. You have Markkanen you can play here. And if you wanted to pay up for a center, it would be for Jokic against Houston, or it would be for Karl-Anthony Towns, or maybe even Joel Embiid if there is no Tobias and Embiid has to take on more of a scoring load. If there is no Tobias, I love Embiid, especially against Zubac. Tough matchup for Zubac defending Embiid. But right now, going back to shooting guard, I'm just going to put in Terry Rozier for now. It's because somebody's going to have to score on that Charlotte team. Hopefully it is Rozier, and I can still go with some cheaper value pieces that I did mention that I like. So that's it for the DK side. Let's touch on FanDuel. Okay, on FanDuel, point guard, it starts with Westbrook. He's definitely interesting today. You also have some very cheap guys like Damian Lillard is down to $8,600. That's a great price tag. John Wall, like that price tag, down to $8,100. But I got to go with Terry Rozier, only 7K. Way too cheap for the role that he's going to have today. Ben Simmons checking in below 7K for like the first time all season probably. He's interesting. John Morant's interesting. Flynn is 55. He's also really interesting. A lot of guys to like at this position on FanDuel. If you're making a bunch of teams, it's a perfect day to kind of mix and match because even a guy like Teo Maledon, love saying that name. And I like the way that it gives you such a high ceiling. The floor is low at times, but the minutes are there. And his price tag is really cheap, down to $4,700. Could just do a little bit of a mini stack of this OKC Pistons game. Neither team plays good defense. At shooting guard, Paul George is the best spend up if there is no Kawhi Leonard today. Bradley Beal is super cheap, $8,400. That's a great price tag. Tough to get away from like Van Fleet if he's assuming he's playing. I haven't heard anything otherwise. He's not on the injury report, so I would assume he'll play. And knowing Nick Nurse, he'll probably throw him out there for like 38 minutes today in his first game back. Josh Jackson, 55, he's kind of pricey in play with no Jeremy Grant and no Plumlee, but I might go down to like a Diallo instead. I like Will Barton at 55. Then we'll see if Diallo is shooting guard eligible. He might be small forward. Oh, he is shooting guard. $4,100 for Diallo is definitely interesting. But I'm going to go with Van Fleet for now. 74 is really, really cheap. Him and Rozier are too cheap for the roles that they're going to have today. With all the injuries on the Charlotte side and the injury slash resting slash tanking on the Toronto side. Small forward, Butler looks great, 92. Kevin Durant looks amazing if he's not going to be limited today, $9,300. See how many minutes. Actually, Durant didn't even play against Philly, so hopefully we get some sort of news. If he gets up to 30 minutes, I would definitely have interest in him. Other guys that look appealing here, Sadiq Bey, 53 in play on this slate. In the 4K range, you have Jeff Green, Joe Harris. Not really looking at either one with Durant back. 3K range, it's Patrick Williams. Checking in $3,800 without Zach LaVine. He hasn't been great, but this is his chance. He wants to score 20 points in a game. This is his chance to do it. Without LaVine, there's so many shots to be had, more minutes, and a ton more usage for all these guys. Gotta like Patrick Williams. Power forward, I like Christian Wood, $7,800. Good price tag on him. Don't think I'm going to go all the way up to Zion at $10,000. So definitely looking at like maybe Jalen McDaniels, $5,800. Pretty nice price tag for him. Gordon is cheap at $53. I think I passed up on Michael Porter. He's $7,400. He looks like a good spend at small forward. But back to power forward. Randall is in play for sure at $9,200 with just the amount of minutes that he plays. And we'll see if there's any cheap guy here besides Isaiah Stewart. Has to be interesting. At that price tag, without Plumlee, without Grant, he's going to get you big minutes. And he's a very productive player when he's out there. Kem Birch. You also have you have a cheap guys, and you have a bunch of studs. FanDuel is going to be interesting. Especially if you play them like the 150 max, there are so many guys. I would just make a very small pool of probably like 4 or 5 guys at each position and just roll with them because there's a ton of really, really good plays all over the place on FanDuel just based on the mispricing. And then at the center position, besides getting Stewart at power forward at center, besides getting a center you can get play him at power forward, you can pay up at center here for a Karl Anthony Towns, a Jokic. They both look great. Embiid looks good as well. Vooch is going to have a ton more usage and a lot more shots without Zach LaVine. He's at a good price tag. Valanciunas has been playing amazing, but he's getting closely priced to Vooch, so I'll probably just slide with Vooch on this slate without LaVine. Then we're going to have ability to pay up, so I don't know if I want to go that cheap here. Brown's price tag went up a little bit. He's up to $5,400 now. DeAndre Jordan is up from 35 to 5K, so he's not interesting. And that's it. So before my computer dies, go ahead and put in my last guy. It's going to be a spot to spend up. Looking at this slate, we have 7,400 left. I don't know to go between Vooch and Jokic right now. Let's see how Jokic's been doing. He's been fine. I might as well just go with Vooch for now. It's against the Memphis Grizzlies. He's going to have to shoot a lot more. He's going to have to play more aggressive on offense. Going with him leaves you still with 7K left. So we'll see. Nothing's been finalized yet. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning, but I do like the way this looks. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck tonight, and I'll see you all next time.